Good afternoon and welcome. It's a wonderful day, a beautiful crowd, and I'm so happy to be here, and I'm glad you're here too. Thank you very much for coming. My name is Paul Pollack, and the interim, emphasis on interim, chair of the Human Rights and Inclusion Committee. I'd like to mention a few folks that are going to be on the program. I would like to acknowledge all those in the town hall. I see a few faces, but we've got a wonderful turnout from town hall here today. I also have Mr. Bennett here, Dan Bennett, who's select board chair, who will be speaking to you in a few minutes, representing the town. And also I see another select board member, Mr. Dr. D. Joyko is here also. Okay. Also from the school administration, Mary Wormers. And Mary is not going to be able to talk to us because she absolutely refused. Chief Lovell, and I wouldn't challenge him. Thank you for coming, Chief. Where's Lieutenant Rob Sullivan? He's also a liaison for Human Rights and Inclusion Committee. We get tremendous support from the town police department. Danvers Public Library, Julie Curtis is here. Charles Desmond. They are both members of the Board of Trustees, and the director, Noel Bach, is here. Thank you for coming. We have some HRIC members here. All right, and I know Shilpa's here, and anybody else I missed? Johan. right in front of me. But these are the folks that Johan's been very involved in putting this program together with, and also the Black Appreciation Party we had in January or February. It's a tremendous success at the Senior Center. Now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Mr. Bennett, who will give a welcoming from the town of Danvers. Thank you, Ben.
I ran away with a microphone. So, I'll take off my disguise. I am Dan Bennett, a 17-year member of the Danvers Select Board. On behalf of my fellow Select Board members and the town manager, we want to welcome you all here today. June 19th is a day of celebration, as it marks the moment when enslaved people learned of their freedom, albeit 2.5 years after it was granted. So it's very important that we remember and recognize and celebrate today. And thank you all for coming.
Now we're going to turn the program over to the North Shore Juneteenth Association, and the first person up is going to deliver a poem, I believe. No, please come forward. You folks are running this show. So I'm happy to give you this microphone and take it from here.
All right, hello everyone, good day. I'm Nicole McLean. I am the president and founder of the North Shore Juneteenth Association, and I have brought with me some great people to commemorate this beautiful day, this day of historical permanence. So first we're going to bring up our poet. He was the Poet Laureate in West Medford for about 2 years, and his name is Terry Carter.
Thank you, Nicole, as always, for the invitation to participate. Thank you to Danvers for hosting the Juneteenth celebration and inviting the town out. I won't be before you long, as the old Baptist preachers say. Juneteenth journey. Did Texas say, not here, not we, when emancipation set us free? Did they buck the trend like a long-horse steer and try to keep their slaves in fear? When the soldiers came to spread the orders, did the Lone Star State defend its borders? Did the slavers draw their Colts and Henrys to press their rights as Texas gentry? Did they say the war may be over for you, but we're still gray and you're still blue? That Yankee, he don't speak for us, so y'all can get or we might cuss. What did they say to their hopeful blacks? You Negroes will never cross those tracks. We'll never treat you equally. Only in name will you be free. Did they bar the doors and douse the lights? Did lynch mobs form on warm southern nights? Did they holler about their precious states' rights? Did they gird their loins and prepare for new fights? When the 19th dawned in the old Southwest, were those owners ready for their slaves to be blessed? Were they ready to unlock shackles and cages? Would they ever pay black men, white men wages? In this new day of manumission, could they show any grace or any contrition? Could they finally admit that Father Time was ready to wash off slavery's grime? As the soldiers regarded their red-flushed faces, were they ready to end their former disgraces? Or would they simply nod and smile, then deal with free Negroes, Texas style? Would they show just how the West was won, with a tightened noose and a triggered gun? Would they shout defiance into the ranks of the Union Army's approaching flanks? What bloody story would black men tell when whites refused to heed the bell? Would this legacy form a violent chapter for history to record thereafter? Or would some cooler heads prevail and jubilant coloreds get out of jail? The answer's written down for us to study here and then discuss. The news was brought to Texas towns as Union soldiers made their rounds. The news was that the war was done. The Northern troops had finally won, their victory certain to assure an end to what all slaves endured. It was not simple. Then, as now, race remains a heavy plow. Yet still, we must commemorate America's final slaver's gate. The end of that Confederacy is a bloody tale of supremacy, the war we thought we'd never see to set the Southland's bondsmen free. Brothers fought against their kin to keep hold of their Negro skin. The country took up violent arms to rid the land of slavery's harms. Now, the last shall be the first, as chattel lives have broke the curse. Texas chains may not abide, though hooded Klansmen now may ride. So take good care, my brown-skinned boys. New sorrows may outweigh these joys. June 19th may loose the chains, but freedom comes with greater pains. Soon Jim Crow will rule the roost and give rednecks another boost. Denying blacks our daily bread, brown backs to the plow still wed. Codifying privilege and then making colored slaves again. Texas gangs will terrorize with hoods that hide their demon eyes. Black men hung from poplar trees to show this land still has disease. 150 years has passed since Texas blacks cried free at last. And yet, the curse of race still finds a way to poison hearts and minds. Guard your lives and take good care. History's hate is everywhere. Brown-skinned boys and girls must learn that crosses in the dark still burn. This is the vigil you must keep. Every shut-eye can't be sleep. Please be wary and don't relax. Heed the story and learn the facts. The truth recalls both celebration and unpaid debts by this great nation. Juneteenth calls for drums and dance, for good soul food and games of chance. Gather round, strike up the band as freedom rings throughout the land. Hug your neighbor and shake a hand as freedom rings across the land. Juneteenth signals freedom's light, a final end to that dark night. Celebrate community, gather with friends in unity. Hug your neighbor and shake a hand as freedom rings across the land. Embrace your neighbor and shake their hand as freedom rings across the land. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
It now gives me great pleasure to announce our two elected officials who are here today representing us in the State House. Senator Joan Lovely and Representative Sally Kearns. Please come up.
They asked if we could say a couple of words. I didn't know it would be after an amazing poet. Serves us right. That was outstanding. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole McLean and the Juneteenth Association for helping us to mark this occasion. And thank you to the Human Rights and Inclusion Committee for your work, and Jasmine for pulling us all together. I just want to say one thing, which is that this is a somber day, as we've heard, and yes, a day for reflection, learning, and celebrating Black joy, Black resilience, the Black community. At the State House, one of the groups working doggedly, steadily, is the Massachusetts Caucus of Black and Latino Legislators. And they have a list of 10 legislative priorities. They are an amazing group. Rep. Bud Williams of Springfield is the chair. I think Senator Liz Miranda, who is a force, is the Senate chair. And their top priority this year is maternal health and dealing with the terrible disparities in maternal outcomes between our white birthing people, our white moms, and our Black moms. And we have to do better. And the senator.
Yes, and we are going to do better. And the House and Senate both have maternal health bills that will be coming to the respective floors shortly to address these disparities. Also, I wanted to mention that the Senate, in our chamber earlier this year, we dedicated a bust in honor of Frederick Douglass because we had no person of color honoring someone in the Senate. And we actually still have an empty alcove where we are taking suggestions from the public about honoring a woman, because there's no woman being honored in the Senate. But we have honored and are honoring Frederick Douglass by having him among George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Marquis de Lafayette. And so we are proud to have his bust in the Senate chamber. And today it is about lifting all voices, every voice. And that's what we're here today to do, lift every voice. Thank you.
Now it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce Mr. Charles Desmond, who will speak before in a few minutes. He's also on he's a Library of Trustees board member, and also is on the Human Rights and Inclusion Committee.
Thank you very much, Paul. Paul and I discussed the fact that I was going to be saying a few words with you today, so I thought that I'd write them down because I am an academic and you have a tendency to go on at length. So today, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to see you all here. I stand before you to emphasize the importance of recognizing and paying homage to Juneteenth, not just as a holiday for African Americans, but as a significant milestone in American history that should be acknowledged and celebrated by all citizens, regardless of race. First, Juneteenth represents a crucial moment in Americans' long and arduous journey toward freedom and equality. On June 19th, as we all heard already, in 1865, federal troops arrived in Galveston, Texas, to take control of the state and ensure that enslaved African Americans were free. While the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed 2.5 years earlier, the arrival of these troops in Galveston finally informed all enslaved people in Texas of their emancipation, marking the end of slavery in the United States of America. This date signifies the triumph of justice over oppression and serves as a reminder of the values that the nation strives to uphold. Former President Obama remarked, Juneteenth reminds us of our incredible capacity to overcome, and that we are not perfect, but we can perfect our union. Secondly, honoring Juneteenth fosters greater understanding and empathy among all citizens. It provides an opportunity to educate ourselves about the historical injustices that have shaped our society and reflect the ongoing changes marginalized communities face. As President Joe Biden has stated, great nations don't ignore their most painful moments. They confront them and grow stronger. By embracing June 19th, we demonstrate not too much longer. Commitment to understanding and addressing the pervasive and enduring impact of slavery and racism as it was enforced in the Confederate States. Lastly, celebrating Juneteenth strengthens the unity and integrity of our nation. In acknowledging the historical significance of this day, we are reminded that the pursuit of justice and equality is a collective endeavor. When Danvers and other predominantly white communities join in honoring Juneteenth, it sends a powerful message of solidarity and shared humanity. As Senator John Cronin noted, the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act will give Americans of all colors an opportunity to join together to celebrate this milestone in a long, hard journey to ensure equality for all. In conclusion, paying homage to Juneteenth is not just an act of remembrance, but commitment to freedom, to empathy, and to unity. By honoring Juneteenth, we not only pay tribute to those heroic citizens from Danvers who fought and died in the Civil War, but also to the enslaved human beings who never ceased to struggle and fight for their rightful place in society. Today we come together in the shadow of the monument erected in honor of Civil War veterans from Danvers who made the ultimate sacrifice in pursuit of freedom. The statue is right behind me. We gather now today once again to reaffirm our dedication to building a more just and equitable nation for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. Now it gives me a great deal of pleasure to hand the program back to Nicole. Thank you, Nicole, for being so patient.
Not a problem. That's what we're here for, to listen and to learn. Not a problem. Okay, so I'm going to say a couple of words, and then we're going to have the Black National Anthem sung by Tanya Dawson. So I want to welcome you all here today, and before I begin, I just want to name something that has struck me by being in Danvers today. And it is the impermanence of the Juneteenth flag, that it's on a pole that's not the pole that's a permanent fixture on in this city. And I want to say that the Black American experience is very permanent in our country. The civil rights movement and those gains are enjoyed not just by Black Americans, but by everybody in the United States of America, and that is those are permanent gains that will always be here. I am a veteran of the Army National Guard, having served in Iraq in 2004 and 2008. I am a Black American. This flag is important enough to be on a permanent fixture, and I think that everybody in this at this flag raising today needs to consider that and understand that. And I hope that next year, if you invite North Shore Juneteenth Association back to Danvers, that we are actually raising the Juneteenth flag. Okay, so welcome to you and all. I want to recognize our esteemed guest and thank you for being here. Today, as we gather to honor and reflect upon the historical significance of Juneteenth, we do so with deep recognition of both the progress we have made and the challenges that persist in our journey toward racial equality. This day, which we mark as Juneteenth, isn't just a celebration of freedom. It is a poignant reminder of the resilience and undying hope of a people who, despite enduring government-sanctioned injustice, continue to believe in the promise of America. It was on June 19, 1865, in Galveston, Texas, when our enslaved ancestors learned of their freedom, 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. This delay in justice reminds us that freedom and equality have never come easily to the Black American community. It is and has been a struggle painted across the vast canvas of our history, marked by the sweat and tears of those who fought tirelessly so that we could stand here today. As we commemorate this milestone, let us not forget the deep valleys our forebears had to traverse. From the shadows of slavery to the trials of the civil rights movement, each step forward was met with resistance. Yet, with each challenge, there were victories. And with each victory, our nation moved closer to its foundational promise that all are created equal. However, we must acknowledge that the specter of racism still looms over us. The systemic injustices that have plagued our society must not be ignored. Pivotal moments, such as the Compromise of 1877, also known as the nadir of race relations, which marked a profound reversal in the progress toward racial equality, haunt us today. 1877 was a time that tested the fabric of our nation, revealing the depths of division and backpedaling on the promises of Reconstruction. In the aftermath of the Civil War, our nation sought to rebuild and unify, but the Reconstruction era ended, an era that held the promise of justice and equality under the law of newly emancipated Black Americans. It was a moment when the forces resistant to change, those unwilling to accept the full humanity and citizenship of African Americans, began to reassert themselves with devastating impacts. We are seeing some of that impact today with the reversal of abortion rights and the reversal of affirmative action. The withdrawal of federal troops from the South as part of the Compromise of 1877 effectively abandoned Black Americans to the mercy of white supremacist governments. These governments swiftly enacted laws designed to strip African Americans of their rights, marking the beginning of Jim Crow era. The promises of democracy were deferred as segregation, disenfranchisement, and racial violence took hold, setting the stage for decades of systemic inequality that we are experiencing today. As we reflect on this day, let us renew our commitment to fighting prejudice and inequality in all its forms. It is imperative that we do not forget the lessons of 1877 and remain vigilant to maintain the progress of the civil rights movement. Let us educate our children about the complexities of our past so they can forge a future that truly reflects the ideals we hold dear. As we celebrate Juneteenth, let's do so not just as a remembrance of past sorrows, but as a celebration of progress and a reaffirmation of our commitment to continue the work left unfinished. Our journey is far from over, but together we can achieve the dreams deferred but never forgotten by our ancestors. Please join me in recognizing the North Shore Juneteenth Association, an organization I founded and am very proud to be a part of. We continue to spread awareness about the Juneteenth holiday and positive aspects of Black American culture. Follow us on social media at NS Juneteenth, and please make a donation of your time, talent, or treasure to this organization. Find out more on our website at nsjuneteenth.com, and you can also find Terry Carter's information at blackskinnedpoet.net. Thank you, and may God bless you, and may He continue to bless our beautiful journey forward together. Thank you. And I'm going to bring Tonya Dawson to the microphone to sing the Black National Anthem.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven rings. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun as our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out of the gloomy past till now we stand at last, where the bright gleam of our bright star is cast.
We'll now move on to our Juneteenth proclamation, which you can find on the last page, back page of your book. Whereas the town of Danvers is a community that is working together to be more equitable, inclusive, and just community. And whereas the town of Danvers is made up of people who come from all over the earth. And whereas in Danvers we believe that freedom and justice are all essential cornerstones of a civil, healthy, and just society. And whereas Juneteenth commemorates and celebrates the end of slavery in the United States as the proclamation reached the last remaining enslaved African Americans in the Confederacy. And whereas Juneteenth commemorates June 19, 1865, when Mayor General Gordon Granger led Union soldiers into Galveston, Texas, to announce that the Civil War had ended and that the Emancipation Proclamation had declared all enslaved people free nearly 2.5 years earlier. And whereas Mayor General Gordon Granger said, the people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor. And whereas Juneteenth commemorates and celebrates African American freedom, education, and achievement. And whereas Juneteenth is a time for community reflection, self-reflection, and planning for a better future. And whereas Juneteenth is a day in many communities across the country marked with celebrations guest speakers, picnics, and gatherings of friends and family. And whereas the town of Danvers acknowledges that the history of our town and the United States of America is plagued by racism and commits itself as a community to the principles of equity, inclusion, and the work of actively disrupting systemic and institutional racism to create the free and just society we all want to live in. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed that the 19th of June will be a day to commemorate Juneteenth in the town of Danvers, and urge all members of the community to rededicate themselves to furthering the promise of equity, freedom, inclusion, and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Jasmine Ramon. I'm the Director of Equity and Inclusion for the town of Danvers. I promise I'm your last speaker on this hot afternoon. I briefly just want to once again say a huge thank you to my colleagues who are here, elected officials, to the Human Rights and Inclusion Committee, to our DJ over there who's going to play us off in a bit, and especially most of all to the North Shore Juneteenth Association, who we will continue to have back, Terry Carter, Nicole McLean, and Tanya Dawson. Can we get another round of applause, please? They work incredibly hard, not just this time of year, but really all year round. You have their information in your pamphlets, and I encourage you to see the other amazing opportunities that they afford us. They are a North Shore treasure. I also just wanted to elevate that in continuing to celebrate and uplift Black history. Whoop, I didn't need that, it's okay. We will have an event tonight at the library at 6 p.m., and it is a documentary and discussion about race amity, which is another proclamation that was put into effect in the North Shore. So continuing to elevate Black history, American history, cross-racial history. We do have that event tonight. So again, I encourage you to meet someone that you have not met in this group that we have here today. Continue to build out that community that's going to move us forward. And please, please, please come get some snacks and some water. Again, thank you all so much for being here, and we thank you for joining us for this Juneteenth celebration.
Oh, no.